You're listening to the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, where a group of nobodies speak to an actual somebody. And now your hosts, John and Frank.
What's going on, everybody? I'm John.
I'm Frank.
And you're listening to the Nothing Podcast.
With Nobody Important.
And here we are, Season 2.
Oh my God, we're back.
It feels so good. You guys stuck with us through all of Season 1, gave us the push we needed to continue on with this journey.
And what an apropos way to start Season 2, a huge season, with something that's literally huge.
Yeah, the biggest star on Broadway today, King Kong himself. We interviewed Danny Miller, who is the puppeteer who controls the face for King Kong on Broadway.
Right, and he's one of, I think, what did he say, like 15 or so people who control this whole thing?
Yeah, it's more than that. I think it's the 30 or something people. But you'll have to hear the episode and find out, which hopefully you'll continue to do.
Yeah, so Danny is, and as he will explain to you, he spends most of the show in a place they call the Voodoo Booth, which is in the back of the house. He's also in the show, but then he does the Voodoo Booth, where it's him and a few other guys, and he literally controls all the animatronics in the face and other parts of the big, giant Kong.
Right. And now, this guy is on Broadway, so it'd be hard to classify him particularly as a nobody, like kind of what we've been after with our guests here. However, in the Broadway spectrum, he's not the leading man. He's not who you'd expect to interview. He's the guy in the booth in the back that's making the puppet work. And I have to say, it's really something to see.
A spectacle.
Absolutely. The puppet of Kong himself makes the show 100% worth going to see, and you're not going to see anything like it again.
And Danny is a big player in that, and in making that happen night after night.
Boy, what a show it was, and you missed it.
Look on YouTube.
So, with all that being said, here's this week's guest.
Hi, I'm Danny Miller, and I am a puppeteer from Australia, and I'm currently controlling the facial expressions of King Kong on Broadway.
All right, so here we are, Danny. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, this is a pleasure.
I really appreciate you giving us your time here.
I also appreciate it.
Frank,
for the record, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So, I guess we should start off. What exactly? Okay, so I don't want to say how exactly does it work, because it's online. You can look it up. But how exactly does it work? What exactly is your role in the puppet in general?
So I'm one of at least 13 puppeteers that are actually on King Kong. So there's physically 10 people on stage. We call them the King's Company. And so they're physically moving Kong with actually physically lifting up his legs and arms, and they're pulling ropes and jumping off his back to make his arm move quicker, that sort of thing. And there's 3 of us that are in a voodoo booth, soundproof voodoo booth, and we're controlling all the animatronics of King Kong. So I'm controlling the facial expressions, the jaw, and also the hips and breathing motions of King Kong.
That's crazy.
And so the hips are...
Yeah, the hips. It doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it
control the eyes,
does.
mouth,
and the hips.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's where the story's told, in the hips.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You have seen the show, so you understand.
Right. I
you
know
understand.
his hips are the show stealer, for sure.
But yeah, there's also 2 other puppeteers in the booth with me. So there's John Hosh, who is the voice of King Kong. He's doing all the live, everything you hear in the show is live. So all the grunts and the howls, the roars. And he's also doing the head and neck movement, so the undulation of the head when he's running and things like that, and also slight tilts. And so also a big part of the emotion of King Kong. And then there's Jacob, who is our Kong captain. So he's actually talking to everyone on stage. They all have in-ears, so they can hear when he's calling a cue. So he's doing all that. And he's also doing the shoulders of King Kong and the wrists and the clamping of the hands as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening.
Those are animatronic.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty wild.
So he basically has his own stage manager, Kong, and he's calling all your shots.
Yeah.
Does the guy who does the voice, John, does he... So you have the script up there? You're on book, or no? Or you just know it?
We know it. We know it now, yes.
Because what does it say in the script?
Grunt?
Lift eyebrow.
Does he ever improvise noises?
Yeah, definitely. But luckily, we've worked together for quite a while now, so every noise that John kind of makes, I kind of know what that is in my hands, and it's all sort of in muscle memory now. So I know exactly how far to push the joystick down for the mouth to open or the lips to open to show the teeth, and things like that. So
That is
it's
wild.
So when you walk out of the theater on any given day and people are talking to you, do your hands just like click like how their mouth would?
Well, right
No,
now he's trying to move my eyebrows with his hands. I could tell. I can see it. He's trying to raise my eyebrow.
Danny, get your hands off of John's face for a second.
we are called voodoo puppeteers, so you got to watch what you're saying to me now.
So how does somebody get into this? How do you just wake up and go, boy, I want to do the face of the monkey?
Look, there's no real just one way I think to get into it. Like puppetry is something that you do. It starts as a hobby, obviously. Not obviously, but it's not something that you maybe want to be from a very, like when someone asks you when you're a kid, what do you want to be? Not many people would say a puppeteer.
Right.
And it's it's just something that you don't really think of as a job. But I was raised in a very arts-based family. My nana was a painter, my dad was a drummer in a band, my mum was into crafts, so I was never...
My uncle was a gorilla, so it was all perfect for me.
It all came together.
So I guess I was just never told not to follow performing arts and things. So I studied musical theatre at university, and then it was very much a backdoor into it. So it started off as a hobby about 14 years ago. I started building puppets, so making marionettes, and then I heard about this conference in Connecticut, the Eugene O'Neill Puppetry Conference, and from a friend, Ronnie Burkett, who's now my friend, but he's a very well-known Canadian marionettist, and so I went and saw his show, and he kept me in. After the show, I went to see him and say congratulations. He said, if you got time, why don't you come backstage? I'll show you stuff. I'm like, okay, yes, of course. And so he was lifting up the clothes and showing me the joints and things, and it was
not his
pretty,
clothes.
not his clothes,
Checking.
and not actual joints. So with actual joints. And so from there I was just very inspired from that. So I went and did the conference, came back, did a fringe festival with some cabaret style acts with marionettes I'd made, and then I ended up. One of the puppeteers I was working with is Philip Miller, who works for Global Creatures, and he just kind of said, "There's this audition coming up for King Kong," because we started in Melbourne in 2013.
Ago, right? It's been a progress. For
a
long time.
It's been 5 years hiatus between Melbourne and Broadway.
Right.
Wow.
And so there was 2 weeks of kind of workshops, auditions, and interviews, and then ended up landing the job. It's kind of just rolled on from there.
How do you audition for this?
So at Creature Technology, which is where Kong was built, they have, because they did Walking with Dinosaurs, which I've also toured with.
Did you do that?
Yeah, I'd love
Those
to
are
see
the
Walking
stadium
with
shows,
Dinosaurs.
right?
Yeah. I toured across North America with that for 9 months, which was awesome, really awesome.
Cool.
But they had one of the dinosaurs, because that's their original show, was Walking with Dinosaurs, their original big one. And so they had one of those just set up in the warehouse, and they just got me onto one of the rigs, just make sure that I could understand, they could colorate, that I could do the actual hand actions here and actually make the dinosaur sort of look like he's coming to life.
Right. Because that's a big part of it, and we talked about it a little before, but like I've done limited puppetry, but I know that like bringing it to life is sort of a talent that people don't realize that some people have and some people don't. Like I've done a lot of hand puppets and like Henson style puppets like that. But you put it on, and on some people's hands it looks just like a sock, like it's just there. And then some people it just comes to life immediately. Yes. And it's funny that you say that you do a lot of like marionette and you create your own puppets as well, like because from an insider perspective, I know that a lot of people tend to go that Henson Company route.
Yes.
And so the marionette and sort of different style puppetry is a whole nother lane that you don't even really a lot of the time think about.
Yeah, it's like a little romantic, I think, because the marionettes are they go back a long way.
Oh yeah.
The traditional style of puppetry. So I've always found it fascinating and beautiful, and it's a difficult style of puppetry, like not just to manipulate, but to build a puppet and to have the right weighting on, say, feet and just the weight of puppets and the length of strings, and I like problem solving, so that's definitely a problem solving sort of puppet.
And you know a lot about obviously how the puppet works on the innards as well, right? Like how it's made, or not really?
With King Kong.
With King Kong, yeah.
I don't know much about all the technology that's in King Kong. I don't do any of the like building or the animatronic parts. I know nothing about the electronics or the signals or anything like that. Right. So I'm just, with this show, I'm really just controlling him. I could not even, I wouldn't know where to start to build something like Kong. He's beautiful, and so I kind of know what he's made of, but I wouldn't know where to begin with that stuff.
Wow. So we perform as well. We do a little community theater out in Brooklyn. Yeah. And so they keep trying to push the boundaries on what we can do as far as animatronics and stuff like that, which is really interesting for a community theater. But we just did the producers, and they built
the pigeons.
And they built these. One of
those before.
One of our crews built.
You were a producer's pigeon?
Yeah. No. I was the puppeteer, but I also helped. Build the mechanisms for the pigeons to work, and
this
the little wing to
the wing that goes up,
and
they kind of fell apart, and then the guy who made them moved, and so he had to FaceTime with me and teach me how to get the signals right. And stuff. Yeah.
Amazing.
And once you kind of see it, it's like
Pippin had animatronic too.
I did, right? I controlled. We just did Pippin, and I was the voice and the the animatronic controls for the head.
I should be interviewing you.
Wow,
what's
going
on? Oh yeah, I'm in here with this guy. Like, I do a lot of this too.
I don't want to brag, gentlemen, but for a couple of years, I will not say the name, but I worked in a New York City haunted theme restaurant controlling the animatronics.
Did you control the animatronics?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
I can't say the name of the place.
I don't know the place.
It's also a...
based on a Frank Wildhorn musical?
And about a doctor who injects himself and becomes a bad version of himself.
Yeah.
And there were like 30 animatronic puppets in this whole place. And we had surveillance cameras around. It would interact with the guests and hidden microphones. I don't know if I liked it, but I did it.
Is that still around?
I think there is. The smaller one is.
Danielle's nodding. Danielle's nodding. Yes,
it is
there
are.
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah, it was not a wonderful work experience, but I thought it was cool to do the puppets.
Great.
So we're basically the same person.
It's fine.
Basically, we're all akin here. I had a question because Danielle and I have been following Kong in Melbourne for years, from like going way back from the first development. We've been showing people videos of him like running and being like, "You got to see this. It's gonna come to Broadway one day."
Yeah.
And it was forever, and it never came. And then finally it came when we came to see it. It was unbelievable. Yeah. But I know that it's gone through a lot of changes. Have you been with it since the very beginning? Because I know
pretty
the show
much
itself
the very beginning.
Not
all the design concepts and thing like that. But I was pretty much the last person that was hired for the show.
Right.
So I didn't have I wasn't involved in any of the workshops of anything like that. It was really just from the very start of the rehearsals.
Right.
But it's.
Because I imagine the one thing that didn't change was probably the puppet.
Yeah, Kong's he's the exact same puppet. He's the exact same puppet.
Right, once you make it, you make it.
How heavy is he?
He's 2,400 pounds. 1.2 ton, and 20 feet high. He's a big guy.
We watched. You guys there was a video of you guys, the Puppeteers. We watched it before we came.
Well, and the Voodoo Puppeteers. I don't want to take anything away from the.
Yeah, the Voodoo Puppeteers, right?
The onstage Puppeteers as well.
And it said there was there's an audio delay. That was one thing, 1.8 seconds. But is there a delay between when you hit the trigger and when his eyes move? Like, is there a delay or it's instant?
No, mine's pretty instant because all of the motors that are in his face are pretty. There's no gross movement in his face. Like the head and neck, there's quite a big gross movement, and also the shoulders. But mine's pretty instantaneous because they're small. There's this small axes and things, so it's they're very much straight away. But so that 1/8 of a second that I do have to react to John is enough for me to sort of catch up.
And then it syncs up perfectly.
Yeah.
How many productions of Little Shop of Horrors have you done?
I have not done one.
Wow, get this guy in a plant.
Right.
But I just auditioned for it actually for this one that's coming up.
Yeah?
Wow.
For the Puppeteer?
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah.
How'd they audition you? Put a pizza box over you and make it?
Did you make this pizza box sing? Well, I saw her on Instagram, and I could be wrong about this, but you actually also teach as well, puppetry stuff, right? You have like little courses and.
Yeah, so in Australia, we, my friend Jess Knight, she's created this company called Trash Puppets, and so we actually go around to schools and we teach kids how to build puppets from recycled materials, pretty much. So, it's really, and it promotes sustainability and just everything. Like the kids love it. It promotes inclusivity of all kids. So kids that normally wouldn't join in, all of a sudden there's this light that shines in them, and then their fingers are going and they're making this cool stuff.
There's just something so inherently innocent about it. about seeing
Yeah.
nothing and making it come to life. Like
That's exactly it.
I think when you see theater, you have to suspend your disbelief, right? That's the thing we all talk about. But you really have to suspend it when you're seeing puppets, which makes it more innocent
right,
to me.
absolutely. Yeah,
Does he stay in one spot, basically, always on stage?
Yep.
And everything moves around him?
Yeah. No. He moves. So he's on an XY axis that takes him around the stage, almost like the claw machine. But also there's the apparatus that he's on. It turns around 360 degrees. So he's very, very functional. Like there's not much that he can't do on that stage.
When he comes towards the edge of the stage, over the
Spoiler
audience.
alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
When he comes towards the edge of the stage, like over the audience, I mean, we were sitting there, we were like mouths wide, and like we've seen so many things on Broadway, and like I've never seen anything like it. And I kept telling people, like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta. It's something that you said it before.
It's
like
something that you won't witness again.
no, you will not see it again.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, the Little Shop of Horrors revival, not to bring it up again, Hunter Foster one.
Danielle's like, you really got it.
Why'd you laugh there?
Just Little Shop again?
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is, the Audrey 2 puppet at the end of the show, do you know what I'm going to say? They tracked it all the way downstage, and then it was on some sort of an arm. You know about this already. He's looking at me. It went all the way out and over the
Yes,
audience.
it goes over the audience, comes right up to the edge of the balcony. And that was Marty Robinson, who was the puppeteer for that.
Yes.
Who is the puppeteer for Snuffleupagus and a lot of the big... he was actually part of the one in the movie as well.
Serious?
Yeah.
And he's actually got something coming up called All Hallows Eve that he's actually been making for quite a while.
Really?
And it's coming up in October, I think, for Halloween.
Something creepy?
Wow.
Something that you should look out for too.
Yeah.
Where
gotta
will it be?
check that out.
It's in New York. I'm not sure
Somewhere
exactly
near.
where, but like check it out. Like,
Yeah.
Cool.
His stuff is amazing.
And he in the... Let's just talk about him for a while. No. No, in the revival one, he was actually in the pod. Because the pod opens and he's sitting in there like the little alien in
Men in Black in the head? Yeah. This is stupid.
That's kind of cool. And so we really liked that they gave you guys the credit at the end of the show. The Kong puppeteers get the final bow. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you guys on the screen as well.
Yeah.
And we were so happy about that because it was like the show's amazing. Everybody in it is super talented.
But
that, I mean, the way you guys were working was like, oh my God, crazy.
It's a cool job. It really is.
Yeah.
something I asked Danny before we started, which I want to ask again because I think it's just so funny to me. So Danny's also in the ensemble in Act 1, right? My question for you, Dan, I said, Danny, why do they give people in Broadway shows underwear? They have show underwear.
Yeah.
Did you know this?
No,
Danielle,
I heard
did you know this?
talking about it a little bit.
Why? I don't. Why? I could see if it's a period play, and you have to you drop trow, and you have to have bloomers on or pantaloons.
Yeah.
But you're sitting in the back of the theater. Why are they buying your underwear, Danny? Help me out. This is why my ticket costs $150. So Danny needs underwear.
I think it's a sweat thing, and people don't want to sweat in their own underwear.
I guess.
It would be weird if they were up there performing, giving a full performance, and they have
Victoria's-
Santa Claus boxes on.
Yeah.
It's weird for me. I find it weird.
I guess.
Maybe it's a control thing that they don't want us to wear our own underwear that's just going to show on stage somehow. I don't know.
Right.
It's probably taken one person to wear this one pair of underwear that was just too much and got a lot of
it's a union
attention.
rule.
And now it's a union rule.
By
Here we are,
Yeah.
and here we are discussing it.
Well, it's something interesting to me.
But yes, I wear my own underwear, so I don't wear
Thank
the
God.
show underwear. It's not
But you
important
kept
to
the
my
show
track.
underwear.
Yeah, we just have a black hoodie that we put on because we
okay.
walk among the audience through the show. So we have a black hoodie, and I have a black cap that I wear as well.
So you walk up through the house to get to the perch?
Yes, yeah. Well, through the mezzanine, not the orchestra seats. But
Oh, we sat in the mezzanine. I didn't see
He's
it.
climbing
Yeah.
over people. Excuse me. I have to do.
Pardon, I gotta get
I'm
through
the
it.
eyes. Excuse me. So you are the eyes, though.
yes, yeah.
No, the eyes is the most important. Well, I'm going to put you out there. Don't let any of your cast members hear this. I always find that the eyes is the most important thing, especially for Kong. His eyes are really, really what sell him. I mean, it's hard to say that to a person jumping off the rafters holding a rope, but the eyes sell his emotions. They sell everything about him. They really bring him to life.
Yeah.
How much control do you have over that, or is it that you just open them and there they are?
No, I have a lot of control over them, but King Kong, he's such a beautiful puppet. He's been Sonny Tildas and Creature Technology have done such a great job to build this puppet and make him to be able to be so expressive as well. He has 16 motors just in his face that I'm controlling just in my hands. But the eyes are actually, they don't move. The eyes don't move. They're just still, but it's the eyelids that move up and down. And also, if I raise a right eyebrow, like it will give the impression that he's looking to the right. It's just the reflection of the lights as well. So it's playing with everything that you've got on stage as well. But yeah, he's very expressive.
Yeah,
and
super expressive.
Just just the very, very fine nuances that are in my muscle memory that I know how to make him just
You love him. I can tell you love
make
him.
the audience shed a tear. I do love him.
Yeah.
I do love him.
You
I
all
imagine
love him.
you'd have
All
to.
20 of you love him.
Yeah.
I need to know, how often does the facial expressions like change show to show?
If every show is different, it really is. Because everything's live, nothing's like just programmed or robotic. Like everything you see is live. So there's room for improvisation if something. And we have 3 different Anns. So we have the main Ann, Christiani Pitts, but we have 2 other girls that are her understudies. So they have totally different timing on stage.
Right,
so you have to
right.
adapt to that as well. So every show is a little bit different. And even during this run, like I find more nuances as we go that I can just add in, and also John Hirsch as well. Like we, together as like an unspoken finding nuances throughout the show, and maybe a couple of weeks later we'll say, hey, I like how we do this, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that, but yeah, we've found something new. Or like
That's
how
cool.
we've taken this extra breath here, or we look up at this point, and it's just organically sort of happens.
Do the
all
nostrils
time.
move?
They don't. The nose does, but not the nostrils. No, not
Wow.
individual. It wasn't that important
Right. They don't
for him
need
to
make
be
those
able to do
nostrils move.
this.
Right. Well, wow, your nostrils move. See, that's a puppeteer for you right there, wiggling the nostrils.
How did you make yours move?
Right.
Do you ever do you ever be funny and do like the hubba hubba eyebrows on stage?
Right. I was gonna ask you, ever slip anything in there that's like, oh, funny eyebrows?
No, not on stage. But we did have Stephen Colbert come and visit us.
I was gonna
and
ask
so
you about that.
He did. Yeah, he did very ungorilla-like things.
Oh,
So-
he puppeteered him?
No, he didn't puppeteer
No.
him, but we did puppetry that, and we didn't think the creators of Kong would let us do. But it's Stephen Colbert, and it was for the sake of comedy.
It was funny. What song did Kong sing?
Memories.
Memory.
From
yeah.
Cats?
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah?
It had this like
Yeah.
it was like they played it off like he interviewed Kong, and it was very dramatic woman's voice, and she sang this operatic rendition of Memories. It was so funny.
Yeah, the whole concept was he was like a Broadway actress.
Yeah.
And you were puppeteering him?
Yes, so this was probably the most difficult thing because he's not made for just lip syncing words. So it was a lot of trying to find the mouth shapes to sort of sell it, and
Sure.
we had
Danielle thinks this is hilarious.
It's so funny. I have to
and
send it to you.
we had the actress up next to the voodoo booth, so she's just speaking live into a microphone, and I've just got like the 1/8 of a second delay to try and follow what she's doing. We only had 2 takes with Stephen himself, and so it was just, I don't know, it kind of worked. There was a few bits I wasn't really happy with, but it was fun.
It's improv.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a list to you. Okay, we're gonna make
Right.
you rate some
The
stuff.
rating game.
Okay.
You've heard of this? You've heard the show before.
I have heard the
Yeah.
rating game.
Thank you.
Yes, the pregnant woman episode. We had her rate
Birthing practices.
Birthing practices. We're
And
not
so
gonna-
you're going to rate
birthing practices, right? No, so what we have here is we're gonna have you rate famous kings,
Famous Kings.
and you could rate them in
alright.
any way. You
Yeah.
could rate positive, negative,
Like it, don't like it.
don't like it. 1 out of 10.
Okay,
whatever
yeah.
it is. So
How many pairs of show underwear would you give it?
Right.
Doesn't matter.
That's
I'm gonna skip the first one because it's a little controversial
oh
in comparison to what we're talking about
Uh-huh.
here.
oh.
So why don't we start at the bottom?
I need to
bottom?
know about that afterwards. If you're not
Well, no,
gonna
we'll
mention
get
we're
to
gonna
it,
get
but
to
we'll
it.
get to
Oh,
it
We're
last.
gonna get to it.
Okay,
Go ahead,
right.
Frank.
I'm at the bottom. King Triton.
Yeah, from
I love the animated movie.
yeah, right. Okay.
I mean, I'd give him 9 pairs of underwear.
You
would?
Out of 10, yeah.
Out of how many?
underwears.
Out of 10?
Out of 10,
And what's so
yeah.
funny is he doesn't
Nice.
need any underwears. He's got a fin.
He's got a fin. He
Yeah.
wears nothing.
How do they get
We
to the
don't-
bathroom?
Right. So you're new to New York, sort of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you Kings County, Brooklyn.
Do you know what that is?
I don't even know what it is. So
You don't know what Brooklyn is?
I know what Brooklyn is.
Oh,
but I
Kings
don't
County is
know
another name for
Kings
Brooklyn.
County.
Oh, it's another name for Brooklyn.
Oh, right. Oh, I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
Brooklyn.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
like
just there
Brooklyn?
yesterday.
There you go.
Where'd you
yeah.
go? We live there.
Well, where did we go?
Definitely
It
not
was,
where
Now
we
he's
live.
like, oh,
it was
I
a
didn't go to
park.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Of course, I know that one.
no.
McCarran Park.
I can't remember where we went. No, well, I think it was. I think it was Prospect.
Prospect
Park.
Park.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you want to hang out with us?
Well,
He was
you
looking
weren't
for us.
there. I was looking. I was looking.
Oh, he's our friend now.
All right. How about this one?
Okay, King George.
King George,
Who's King George?
father of Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them. Is it King George
Oh,
the Second?
King George,
King George
who died from
Tenth?
the crown? King George?
Yeah. Or King George from Hamilton. That's a character. Have you seen Hamilton?
I'm really not good at this rating game with
Wow,
kings.
that's okay.
Maybe we're not good at coming up with them. Oh,
Yeah,
here's a good
King-
one.
Okay.
King-
This is excellent.
Hugh Jackman, king of stage and screen. He's from your homeland.
I mean, I'm gonna have to give him a 9 pairs of underwear.
Yeah,
as
you
well.
like
Yes.
Yeah,
You're a big,
I
huge
like
fan?
Hugh. Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Huge. He's a big, huge fan. That's so stupid.
King of Hearts.
Like from Cards.
Yeah, King of Hearts. I mean, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's give him 7.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
You might not know this one. The King of Queens. It's a sitcom.
Oh yeah.
Kevin
with
James.
the
Kevin
big,
James?
the big guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Big guy.
I've seen a few episodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's give him a 6.
Good.
6
He needs 6
pairs of
big
underwear.
pairs of underwear.
Big.
Yeah. Wow. Because he was Mall Cop, right? Is that?
He was
is that
Paul Blart
Mall
Mall Cop.
Cop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay.
Okay.
What would you rate Paul Blart Mall Cop in terms of show underwear?
Oh, let's not do that one.
No,
we
it's
gotta-
not going to be favorable.
So 0.
Yeah.
Thongs. He'd say. It's a thong. Okay.
Okay, at least 3. At least 3.
Okay.
Oh, it's a good one. This is a good one. Burger King.
Burger King. Well, in Australia, we call it Hungry Jack's.
No, it is
Yeah.
not the same place.
Yeah.
Hungry Jack's.
No, it's the same place.
And then in
It's
Asia
pretty
they
much
call
the
it
same place.
Queens, and you get them all, and it's a flush.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
But it's Burger King?
Yeah, it's Burger King. So sometimes they're Burger King, but sometimes they're Hungry Jack's, depending on which state you live in or where we are.
Wow.
But I know it's Hungry Jack's in Melbourne, so.
Same
That's not
food.
even a king at that
I
point.
mean, sorry.
It's not even a king at that
It's
point.
not even a king, but he's just hungry. But I rate that. Yeah, let's give that an 8.
Okay.
8 pairs of underwear.
I wouldn't.
8
But
pairs of
that's-
show underwear.
I support you.
How about I don't know if you have these in Australia. King cone. It's like a ice
don't.
cream, like a king cone. It's
Pre-wrapped.
Like, I just said it's ice
No,
cream
we
like a
don't.
king cone. I don't know how to describe it. It's a pre-wrapped ice cream. Do you like pre-wrapped ice cream?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, great.
Like an Eskimo pie.
Oh, I like this one. Can I do this
Okay,
one?
yeah, you do this one.
Do you know Eskimo pies?
Not an Eskimo
Yeah, Eskimo pie. I love a good
Danny,
Eskimo
this is-
pie.
Please, Danny, do this our way. Okay, here we go. The next one is Kings of Comedy, Bernie Mac.
You know Bernie Mac?
I do know Bernie Mac.
Cedric the Entertainer?
The English comedian. Kings of Comedy. Is that a
He's
show?
an American comedian.
Oh, is he? I thought Bernie Mac was in English.
Oh, I thought you meant English like American. Oh yeah. Well, he's dead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
He speaks
He's not
English.
gonna hear
He
this.
speaks English.
He
but
does
with
speak English.
with an American accent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, Bernie Mac. Yeah,
Bernie
sorry,
Mac.
from he was on Ocean's 11 and.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm
Bernie
thinking
Mac.
of somebody else entirely.
You're thinking
so,
of Big Mac.
Okay, let's give him an 8 pairs of
A
show
Hungry
underwear.
Johnny's. What are they called?
Hungry Jack's.
Hungry Jack.
Hungry Jack.
All right.
11? You give
No,
him
I said
11?
8.
Oh, an 8.
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the 3 kings, like from the Bible: Balthazar,
Melchior
and Gaspar.
Oh, I didn't know their names. I
Yeah.
just know what they brought.
We
Yeah,
know you're not
they
going
got-
to church on Sunday because you're here doing.
Don't ask me which one brought the frankincense and the myrrh. I don't know.
Do you like those kings?
They're
I
alright.
mean, they followed the star.
They did.
and-
They did. They
And
followed
we're
the star
following
pretty
you.
good. And
Yeah.
you're our star, and we're following you.
Okay, let's
is-
let's give them 10.
Yeah,
But
that's-
Yeah, baby.
They'll have to share 3.33 stars each.
3.333.
Yeah.
Recurring.
Oh, I like this one. Mufasa.
Oh wow.
That's a good king.
I mean, James Earl Jones.
Either
Yeah.
way, James Earl Jones, both of them.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, I mean, 9.5 pairs of show underwear.
9.5.
Okay.
9.5.
I'd like to
I don't
say
know
one
why it's
before
not
you
a
say
10.
one.
No, this is the last one I'm going to give you.
I don't
Okay.
even want to sit by the mic for this one.
Oh no.
This is the
making me
proper
nervous.
name. This is Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Okay.
And
alright.
now-
It's sensitive around here.
Yeah,
So he's known as King of the Monsters.
he is.
Yeah.
But who judged that? Like who's?
I mean, it just came out, the movie Godzilla, King of Monsters, which he's been called, and at the end of the movie they say, "Long live the king." But we know he's
He's
headed
the
to clash with another king in the next
Yeah,
movie.
right.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, spoiler alert, but King Kong does die, like in our show. So
What?
right,
yeah. So I mean, maybe
Yeah,
he's
King Kong
he
dies.
is
I
King
didn't
of the
see
Monsters.
this.
I think
He
that's.
dies?
you've never seen any
You've
of the
never
other
seen
movie
any King
iterations
Kong.
of King
He
Kong.
falls off the Empire State Building.
What do you think
Yeah.
he does? Fly away?
He's
He
gonna-
falls off the same
Who's
thing
going to
here?
survive that? Who's going to survive a fall from the Empire State Building?
So you have to do dying King Kong face?
Yeah.
Show us on your hands how you do it. Do you have it in your...
It's
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so
oh,
sad.
that's what you
Oh,
do?
wow, that's a
yeah.
thrust.
It
It goes
literally looks like
from
he's-
this angry,
Okay.
getting shot.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what it looks like. He's doing fists into hitchhiking thumbs all the way out.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
He went from tens
It's
to
like
fonts
hitchhiking.
right away.
Hitchhiking. I'm out. Hey.
He goes down.
Hey! He hits the jukebox
But who
as
do
he
you think would
falls.
win? Who do you think is gonna? Who do you think would win? Your King Kong versus Godzilla?
But doesn't Godzilla fire from his
He
face?
does,
And,
yeah.
But they've fought before. King Kong shoves a tree down his
Yeah.
throat.
Yeah, well,
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like King Kong would win.
I think so. He's got those thumbs.
I
I
feel
don't-
like he's more agile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he fights another monster on stage,
Yeah.
which I was
it Mothra?
super impressed by.
That's a cobra.
No, yeah, it's a
yeah.
cobra. He fights.
Her
on
name's
stage.
Sasha, but Sasha.
Sasha?
Yeah.
It's like a little Russian girl.
I think
Sasha?
maybe because she sachets her across the stage.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool, and I was really because I'm a big King Kong fan of like all the movies and stuff like that. So I was like, there's a couple of things you need to be true King Kong. One of them is he has to fight another monster, and I didn't think that.
You're expecting a T-Rex, though, right?
I wasn't expecting anything. I didn't think you were going to do it, and then there was Sasha came out.
But does the audience know it's called Sasha?
No, they don't.
Oh, you guys call it Sasha.
No, we
They're
call
like,
it.
oh my
super
god,
weird.
here comes Sasha!
It's like Dancing with the Stars guy. Sasha and Kong.
That's kind of cool. Well, thanks for rating all those things.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
Do you feel dumber?
I think I've gone through 80 pairs of show underwear though.
Yeah. So you didn't have to like study Kongs of the past.
Didn't have to. No, I've
No,
seen
well,
I've seen the
that's a
original.
real question.
The
I mean-
original I have, and I've seen half of like the Peter Jackson one, but I still
So
haven't
it's
seen the
about
other
4
half.
hours.
But yeah.
Is this play similar to the Peter Jackson one?
Story wise,
Yeah. This is like the boat to Skull Island.
Oh yeah, there's always a boat.
They're all basically the same. This story, because of limitations, I assume that's why I took out a lot of the minor characters from the other stories and just kind of stuck to the 3 or 4 main characters.
We've
and
taken out a
Kong.
couple of characters even from the Melbourne.
Oh yeah.
Melbourne performance here. So there used to be a love interest as well, Jack Driscoll.
Yeah, Jack Driscoll. Yeah.
And so we took that away because it was more about, Anne Darrow's journey, and
Right.
she's like this badass woman she's on her. This is all for herself. It's really about empowerment for women as well, and I really like this rendition a lot. I love the Melbourne one as well. They're totally different. But yeah, this one's got a lot more heart and a lot more message, I guess, to it. And you also see the diversity on stage too. It's really great to see.
We're going to lose some people here, but I have a question for you. Do you see Carl Denham as the villain?
He's the director.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone's a bit of a villain in this. Everyone except for King Kong. Like,
Right,
he's just
yeah.
misunderstood. But Anne Darrow, to a point, is the villain because she's kind of wanting this notoriety, so she agrees for eventually to bring King Kong from his island, from his home to New York to display him and put him up as a
Right. In this version, she agrees to help bring him.
So she lures
Sort
him
of,
onto
right?
the ship.
yeah.
Usually
after being
she's,
coaxed by Carl Denham, so it is
Right.
his fault that
Right.
He changes her mind because he puts in her mind that this is going to bring you stardom and you're going to be up in lights and
Right.
whatever. So
And this one-
but he's definitely a villain.
There's only, if I remember correctly, there's only 4 characters from the original story that are in this one. Is Anne Darrow, Carl Denham, Captain Englehorn, and Lumpy. And I
Lumpy,
think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But and
That's
Lumpy
it.
is such a
Lumpy?
different character.
Is he like the
Well,
shipmate?
Lumpy's a new character, so he's sort of Carl Denham's right-hand man, assistant, but also becomes also the friend of Anne Darrow in this one, and
Yeah.
he's sort of the empathizer, really, for.
In
and,
the,
he has his own story as well that comes out, and
In the Peter Jackson one, he's the chef on the ship, and he just has the name Lumpy. And
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
And
had no idea. I thought it was like a total made-up name.
yeah, no, he's
Thank you for letting me know.
He's Lumpy.
Of course
he's
John knew
Lumpy
this.
in the it's played by Andy Serkis, who plays
Oh,
also
wow.
Yeah.
And so he's the chef on the ship, but also Carl Denham has a right-hand man who plays that same role. So basically, they took that character name and gave it to
Okay.
basically. But when I don't know, but I'm saying from what I
So
was seeing
he's a
the story,
chef. So is he named Lumpy because of his skin or because of his soup?
probably I would say
yes.
soup.
Okay.
Both.
soup. All right.
Yes.
I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this, but technical mishaps.
I mean,
Because this is a big tech show,
yeah,
right? The stage.
you wouldn't think this would work any time, like any show, but yeah, we've had a couple of technical mishaps, but it's mostly to do with because his cables are spooled. They're spooled up. Like when he gets taken up to the gantry, there's a spool that actually runs the cable up and down
To keep them
and
up.
yeah, and because he goes up and down so quickly that if the actual cable loops just like a little bit, like as soon as it trips,
It can hook
like
something.
there's a sensor that senses that something's not wrong, so we'll just stop it straight away. And
So
so
his feet are dangling down.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times where we've just had to stop the show for. I mean, we had one major stop that the audience unfortunately did have to wait for about an hour, but a lot of them stuck around and
they have to be understanding about it. I mean, look at the thing. Like,
yeah. I mean, we try not to cancel the show if we can, but there's been a few, but it's not as much as you would think for such a technical show.
How many performances have you done so far?
We just went past our 300th performance,
Wow.
so maybe 310 now, I think.
Clap it up.
Something like that.
Let's get some applause for that.
And
we love a good applause.
I love a good, quiet, awkward applause in the back.
And we did 291 in Melbourne, and then like 28 previews as well.
Wow.
So we've gone over 600 now, so which is great.
That's wild.
And do you, as puppeteers, have understudies?
Yes, we do. We have swings. We call them swings. So there's 2 voodoo swings that we have. So each of one of those guys swings for 2 of our roles as well. And yeah, I think there's 3 understudies for the King's Company as well. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine.
With him coming up and down all the time, how does this work around the lighting?
So a lot of the lighting is either the side of the stage or like
Around him?
Yeah. But there's so many. I think there's over 300 lights or something that are actually in the theater. So there's lights just happening all the time. But there's also the big LED screen behind,
right,
which actually creates a lot of the sets.
Which is crazy, by
sure.
the way. That LED screen is unbelievable.
Yeah, because it's concave, it kind of brings you into the world.
It's
as well.
curved?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a curved LED screen. So it's.
I got seasick.
Yeah,
With
great.
the boat, yeah.
Oh, great.
Are you in that scene? Are you on the boat?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, one of the
sway? Is it
sailors.
choreographed swaying?
We do, yeah, there is.
Let's all do it now. Show us. So he's going to his
The
left.
left.
And
he's
right.
puppeteering us right now.
Oh,
We're just following
Wow.
Yeah,
Danny,
wow.
what can't you do?
Even Danielle.
He dead ass did it. Like he was like, I'll do it with you. No problem. You're morons.
I had a question that I've been wondering because now we've gone through, I think, almost 2 Tony cycles with King Kong Open.
No, just the one.
Oh, just the one? But so it was also the same thing with Stephen Colbert. They've had to find interesting ways to involve Kong because Kong can't leave.
Yeah.
Has there ever been any thought, any attempt at trying to say like, oh, maybe we can move him, or
No,
or it's just kind of been
not
like,
one. It's such
he's
an
attached
ordeal.
into the building, right?
Yeah,
He's up there.
he's not leaving until he has to actually leave. Like
Right.
he can't actually fit out any door. Like he has to come apart to actually leave the theater.
Do you think that
And
we
then
could get
he needs
him
the
when show
big
closes?
structure as well.
you're gonna kind of have him when it's done.
So this actual show is very meta because he came over on a ship as well, like from an island, like
No.
Australia, the island.
Okay.
So yeah, but he'll be going back to Australia just for some maintenance before he goes back to China in, I think, 2021, which is
So
Shanghai.
there's no touring possibility for this show.
It's too big.
I mean, there's talk about it, but I don't see how it will happen.
Yeah.
But just
I think
just
I
gotta come and see
mean
it.
whatever can get more people to see it, more eyes on it, because I think it's just so cool.
But it's
Yeah.
going to open in China.
yeah.
That's. Are you going? Can
Yeah,
you
it's
go
gonna
with
be
it?
it's gonna be condensed to about an hour and a half, I think, just for the spectacle sort of side of it. But yeah, I think I will be going to at least train the next person. I'm not sure if I'll live in China, but
Right.
it's all up in the air. Who knows what's going to happen from here?
Wow. So you studied musical theater.
Mm-hmm.
What roles did you play in school?
I I didn't play any big roles. I only finished 2 years of it. I didn't complete the whole 3 years, but we did Pal Joey. I was a very insignificant character in that. I'm more of an ensemble member than a soloist, and that's why I didn't think I was going to do any sort of musical theatre after that. So just a lot of amateur musicals. Not a lot, but a few amateur musicals after that I did, but it was more of a hobby.
But you have to be a good actor because, like I said,
Right.
the face is the most expressive part. He's the biggest actor on stage, and you're really what's controlling
His
face.
His life.
What's the most expressive.
Yeah, I mean,
And this is, again, I keep trying to not
I
take
definitely
away
am
from everybody
acting,
else.
like, but I'm not using my voice or anything. It's almost like being a mime, really. Like I'm putting all of my emotion into him.
I would love to see Danny's face while he's puppeteering with his hands.
Yeah.
Are you
I bet
owning
I
it?
bet
Do you own it? Do you get into it?
In certain scenes, I try not to because I feel like if I come out, it's all wrinkly and like just all the contortion of my face. But it's hard not to, especially in the scenes where he's going through pain and it's actually all in my hands as well. Like it's like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling
We gotta
it.
get
Not really,
pictures
not really
of
doing the mouth.
Yeah.
But I do, little expressions and in the body as well because I'm also rocking this. And,
Sure.
yeah.
What's the PT like?
Yeah, we have a PT. Yeah. She's
You guys,
great.
a lot of people must sign up.
Yeah.
It's so physical.
Yeah, especially the King's Company too, because they're not only puppeteers, they're ensemble members doing all the full-out choreography as well. So
Wow.
these people, they're just superhuman.
Danielle says, "Oh
Yeah.
wow." She doesn't have a mic.
Yeah,
Did you see Warhorse?
I did. Yeah, many times. Yeah, I've
It
seen it probably
was-
5 times.
You saw it in London or here?
I saw it at the Lincoln Center, but I also saw it.
At the
I
National?
think 3 times in Melbourne as well.
It was just...
I never got to see it. I wanted to see it. I didn't get a chance.
It was... It was like you were watching a movie on stage. Like
Yeah.
it unfolded cinematically. It was just...
Yeah. Did you see it at the Lincoln Center?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was... There was nothing...
Just the way that the stage also comes out as well, sort of in a semi-round. That was really
Brilliant. The little goose on the stick,
good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? The
Yeah.
horses, the tanks were... They were sort of puppets. Remember the tanks came out? The army tanks?
Oh, maybe I didn't see
Yeah.
that version of it. I saw it back in, I think, 2012.
Yeah, they were
Oh,
army
wow.
tanks
Wow.
that were like...
Maybe I forgot those ones.
if I'm thinking this right, they were like... They weren't just wire-framed. They were fleshed out. But people sort of carried them through.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
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 You know what was great, frankly, you should see? King Kong. Are you really good at video games?
I mean, this is like the
joystick
ultimate
video
video
games.
games. You'd think so, but I'm not a gamer. I'm really not. Growing up, I had a Sega Master System 2 and
Yeah.
like the original Nintendo, which I
Yeah.
loved. But that's as far as I got really.
They had those things in Australia?
and Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt, yeah, baby.
Yeah, Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Love
Don't you have a Duck
Hunt.
Hunt
Yeah.
painting in your
I have a
apartment?
painting of Duck Hunt in my apartment.
do?
It looks like a regular bar painting of
You gotta
like
be
a
careful
hunter.
how you say it too.
Yeah.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah. So they had those things in Australia?
Well, what do you think? They
Oh my
live? You live in a
gosh.
cave?
Wow,
I
wow.
don't know anything about Australia. Tell us a little bit about Australia. Do you miss it?
I do miss it. I do miss it a lot. But I may be there sooner than I think.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
do you find ways to get Vegemite here?
Yeah, I've got like 3 jars of it.
I feel like they eat Vegemite in Australia like we eat Chobani here.
Chobani. You like Chobani
I don't
yogurt?
know what that is.
You don't know what Chobani yogurt is?
We'll tell you.
Oh, it's Greek yogurt. I think that's really all you need
It's
to
one
know.
of the
It
best.
sounds nothing like Vegemite to me.
We eat it frequently.
Yeah, let's just say that.
But yeah.
In Australia, does the water spin the other way in the toilet? That's something I heard.
I mean, The Simpsons say so, so I think
Right.
so.
It's
Are you
gotta be
tired of
real
answering
again.
that question. People,
No.
people must ask that all the time, no?
Not really. I think you're the first one to actually ask me that.
Wow.
I think
This
I
is
bring
cutting
it up
edge
more.
reporting here
I
at the
think I
Broadway
bring it
Theater.
up more actually.
Do people here love your accent?
Yeah, they do. I don't understand it, but I think
I
it's
think
just
it's so
anything
cool.
anything foreign. Yeah.
Do you hear that we have accents, like Brooklyn accents?
I think more you I have. Yes.
It depends on the day.
Yeah.
Depends
the,
on the
the
day.
more excited you get. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
you-
yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank gets that way.
I get that way.
So you do a lot of puppeteering, like you said. You kind of take objects, and you can make puppets out of objects.
Inanimate objects. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
You
not
can take
animate object.
Well,
A squirrel.
You can take a squirrel and make it into a puppet. No, but you can take like garbage and stuff, make it into a puppet, right?
Trash. Yeah. Well.
Trash.
Yeah, clean.
We don't say
clean
garbage.
trash.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Trash. Right. So
Not your orange pills or anything like that.
Right. We like to
Hypodermic
play a little
needles.
bit of an improv. So here's the one that I had in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You were seeing my face. You're seeing his face.
Oh, right. Okay.
If you were to say that you had to make a puppet of me or Frank out of trash, what would you use
To make us.
Wow.
That's an actually really great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
I
But
think,
out of trash. That's why it's good. Take your time.
I could help think too.
We can edit for time.
I mean, I might need to use also like the degradable. I mean the.
Oh, that's fine.
the
The jugs, water jugs and stuff.
I'm just seeing fruit. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm seeing
I was
fruit,
thinking,
but I'm
what
seeing
fruit
fruit.
would my eyes be?
I was thinking I might start with a cantaloupe.
That's a good head. Cantaloupe is a good head.
I was gonna say watermelon.
Yeah.
That was the first thing, but I thought that was a bit harsh because they're
Watermelon.
quite,
Yeah,
they're
it's a
quite
little
big.
rounder watermelon.
more-
It is.
it's
Let's
more
be honest.
cancer.
You guys are wearing basically the same hat here. You have little
Yeah,
pork
we
pie
are.
hats.
Yeah, pork
You guys
pie.
are basically brothers. okay?
Twins.
Yeah, we're basically twins. But you can't tell us apart. You've been talking to Danny the whole time when you look at me. Okay, so I'm a cantaloupe.
A cantaloupe. I think just a plastic shopping bag for your beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of hanging off.
Very low.
Some milk bottle
Yeah.
eyes.
Milk bottles.
John's
thing.
saying
Yeah.
like this is everything he's always thought anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
always
make
thought.
faces out of my breakfast every day. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe my nose would have to be some sort of giant, long vegetable. Like
your nose could be like a fortune
giant
cookie.
long.
a fortune cookie.
But that's not oh yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Could be.
I'm thinking trash. So like the cantaloupe is actually a cantaloupe that's been
It's a
shelled.
It's been
an
abused.
old
like
cantaloupe.
It's
an old
shelled.
shriveled
The head of an
cantaloupe.
old cantaloupe.
Thank you, Danny.
What about Frank?
I think I would be like just like a spoon, like a wooden spoon. 'Cause I'm skinny.
I think,
Like a
I think
wooden-
Frank's.
Okay, go. You go.
No,
first.
that's not what I've said. But
Okay.
you really obviously have tickets on yourselves.
I do.
I'm not sure you're worthy of a wooden spoon. That's also not trash.
A
You're,
used wooden spoon.
you're looking at new things.
Okay, what should I be?
I mean, I can. If you've seen the new Toy Story 4, like
No.
I can see
But John did.
But Forky.
He looks like Forky.
Yeah,
I
you do.
look like
You do
Forky?
look a little bit like Forky.
I'm gonna look it up
Yeah.
right now.
Maybe don't look it up.
Don't look at Forky.
gonna
He's
be
got two different size eyes.
Yeah.
He's got...
He's adorable.
A little Forky, yeah.
Let's see.
And what about Dan? What do you think?
Oh
Danielle
yeah,
would be?
that's good. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm definitely him. Yeah, I see
Okay.
that. The hair,
The
Yeah.
one eyebrow.
Pretty
the
simple.
skinny, the big head. That's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, simple.
I like it. That's
I
you
mean,
got a
his-
talent there, man.
His eyes and his arms aren't actually trash though. It's just like a
But he
pipe
insists that
cleaner
he's trash.
and googly eyes.
He insists that he's
yeah.
trash.
Trash.
Trash,
Yeah.
trash. He says it a bunch of times. What about
Yeah.
Danielle? Real loose. Let's.
Oh, man.
I think she'd be like grape head.
A grape?
A little
head.
grape. A little
I
grape.
have
No.
a very tiny head.
I
You
can,
do?
I think maybe a
A beautiful
I
sunflower.
I see like a wine bottle.
Ooh, a wine bottle.
that
That's
in
very
more ways than
Danielle.
you know.
wine
That's
bottle.
right.
Very
Danny.
Danielle. She's so basic.
A wine
wine-
bottle like with a nice long neck
Yeah.
and maybe with a kiwi fruit smashed on the
Yes,
top.
a kiwi.
I love it.
Wow.
Danny, that's the funniest thing
That's
ever.
good. That's good.
A kiwi on top of a wine bottle.
We
That's
came up
the-
with this like, oh, what are we gonna do with this? And then he actually had answers. You're good at this.
You are a
You've
professional
earned this
puppeteer.
job.
I
my
want
job.
to draw everyone. like
Danny,
that.
what do you think about Evan UQ? Why didn't you do that yet? You have-
I love it. I love it as a show. It's a little dated now, but it's not too dated. I think it's. I mean, I went and saw the last one that was on the off-Broadway one.
Off-Broadway one, yeah.
I had a friend in it, Ben DeRocher, who's like an amazing puppeteer. It's great. I love any sort of Muppet style.
Yeah.
Puppets are pretty
I would love
amazing to
do
watch,
that
and
show, yeah.
it's a great. Like the song list is really great.
Yeah.
All the songs in it are really entertaining, and yeah, I mean sometimes you get actors that aren't puppeteers that are doing, obviously because they're hired for their voices as well, and sometimes they lose a bit of the puppetry in it.
Yeah.
But that's just one of the things, like because you can still see their faces obviously, so
Right.
it's hard not to perform and forget to.
Just kind of leave it there, right? I trained
Yeah.
with a guy who was in it for the last 3 years, and he's unbelievable. You lose him completely.
Yeah.
He's just standing there, and you just do not look at him. He played Trekkie Monster and
I know who you're
and
talking
Nicky.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can he's a great guy, and
Yeah, amazing.
he's so talented.
I have a story. When that first came out, it was a long time ago. I went to see it with my friend Eric, my best friend.
Mm.
Still is. What up, Eric? And we went and we saw it. We were young, right? It was probably we were in high school
Offended.
or whatever it
I'm
was.
offended.
You're also my friend. And when everybody was coming out, so the Trekkie Monster, that's a two-person puppet, right?
Yeah.
And I think her name was, it was Jennifer Barnhart. Jennifer Barnhart, is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
And she was the hands, and Rick Lyons, I think, was the face or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And when she came out, I didn't mean to say this. We were at stage door, and I said, it's just the hands. So offensive.
Oh, it's
and she
just
heard
the
it, and she was like,
Oh,
"Oh, really?"
no.
So I want to apologize to you, Danny. I feel like I'm making my amends. This is my penance to a Broadway puppeteer. I didn't mean it. If you ever see her, tell her.
Okay.
That's just
all
the
right.
hands.
It's just the hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, it's just the hands. So I think I saw I saw it on the West End the first time I saw it, like a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Like 2010 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Brooklyn neighborhood called Park Slope. It's
Yep.
beautiful. You've heard of it?
I know someone.
There's a
from
puppet
there.
theater there. It's
yeah.
called
Okay.
Puppet Works.
Puppet Works.
Yeah. Right.
You heard of it? It's been there
No, I haven't.
forever.
Oh, I used to go there when I was a kid and be terrified because they do different plays, and then all the puppets for all the plays
They're
are just
just hanging out.
hanging all over the room. It's
It's a
terrifying.
marionette theater. It's
Yeah.
I
tiny.
never have been there. I've been to one in Brooklyn that was kind of like that.
It's
so
very
yeah, maybe.
cool. They're
Puppet
all over
Works.
the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, Puppet Works is very, very cool. I was going to intern there for a while when I was younger, and I was literally too afraid. And like for a guy who loves puppets, marionettes just hanging from the ceiling, lifeless
Nope.
things.
Oh,
How do you
no.
do with animatronics?
How
I'm
do I deal with
terrified of
them?
animatronics
Why do you mean? Why are you terrified of it?
because it's okay. So this is weird coming again from a person who loves puppets. Animatronics are trying very hard to convince you that they're alive, but they're not alive.
Right.
And I don't mean like
but
that.
that's puppetry in general.
Oh, I know. Exactly. That's why it doesn't make sense.
John
So
also
you
has
love-
a fear of sex dolls. So
I have a fear of losing all mine. No, but like your animatronic I'm fascinated by it. It's so cool. But when we go through, like, she had to like hold my hand going through Pirates of the Caribbean and Disney. It's just
Johnny Depp one?
Oh my God! It's the
very
way they
real.
move is so unnatural, but like trying to be natural. And all I can picture is
That's
when
the beauty of it, though. That's it.
I can't get near them. All I can picture is when the lights go on or off.
Yeah.
They're just dead there, and I
Yeah.
can't. Like it was.
But
you
you're
know,
in
like the
Christmas-
Hall of Presidents, you can't do it.
No.
I love the Hall of
When
Presidents.
people have Christmas displays, I can't get out of the car.
How about it's a small world? Like,
No.
But those aren't even real. Those are
doesn't-
little stupid.
I
But none of them is real. None of it's real.
those aren't
That's
even
what
look,
we're
they're not
getting.
even trying to look real, and it's a small world.
No,
They just
no.
like do the hula back
I
and
don't know,
forth.
but,
till they
like,
do-
but I'm fascinated by the type of animatronics that you do as well. But if I saw Kong in the rafters, just hanging there,
Yeah.
I would be terrified. At the Sesame Workshop, I know they hang Snuffleupagus up in the corner.
Yeah, that's pretty terrifying.
It's terrifying.
I mean, it's not terrifying, but I can see how kids would be like, like crying, like, what's happened? Why is he just hanging?
they walk in and he's up there.
Yeah.
I heard a story
so
once.
that they try and hide him.
He's the
Yes.
Sasha of Sesame
yeah,
Street.
yeah.
I heard a story once where they had to do a sketch where they fed him a bunch of lettuce. And they forgot to take the lettuce out,
Oh,
and
no.
they left it in him. And when they went up for the next recording, he was just full of rotten lettuce.
Wow.
no.
Wow.
Have you done any sort of like work with any of the Henson Sesame Street stuff at all?
I haven't worked with them, but I have friends that are actually on it. So Frankie Cordero, who's the new character Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy, sure.
Yeah, and I do know Marty Robinson, and also Pam, who's also Grunjetta.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that has been like from the very
I'm saying,
beginning.
Of course.
Of course,
I'm
like-
here looking at the
Of
fish
course.
tank.
Yeah, I know these things. Yeah.
No, I've gotten to know quite a few of them, like just through being a puppet person, but yeah, I've been on set a few times, but not actually worked with them.
Right.
But, yeah, it's something that I would definitely do.
Yeah, of course.
Even as a puppet wrangler and stuff like that.
What does a puppet wrangler do? Just get them ready, set them up.
Yeah, like make sure they're looking pretty, and like also just fine touches and maintaining the puppets, making sure they're in the right places, and just it's like it's quite a busy job.
Now that the show's closing,
Mm-hmm.
are you excited to move on to something else, or are you gonna miss working with Kong so closely?
I don't think I'm gonna miss it. I've loved this job, and it's been such an amazing opportunity, especially for someone not from this country, and just to be on Broadway, kind of get the back door in is pretty amazing. I don't think I'm going to miss the show because it's still going to be going on, so I kind of look forward to the next rendition of it when they put it up in Shanghai. It's going to be pretty amazing. But I will look forward to the next thing as well. And because I'm also a puppet maker as well, I've kind of missed making things.
Sure.
I mean, I did make something while I was here as well, but
You built that here.
at home.
At home, I understand.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into actually building stuff and collaborating in that sort of sense.
Totally.
Cool.
And just whatever other job comes up between now and Shanghai, really. Yeah, if
That's
that
cool.
is definitely happening, so who knows? That's the life of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
of a
right.
puppeteer or a
Absolutely.
performer. Really, you don't know what's coming up next, which is kind of exciting.
I do have one last question I have to ask you about this. How, and I know you said when we first started, we opened with how did you get into this? And you were like, oh, you just kind of fell into it. But people always say that. There is a track back of how. So, like, I love puppeteering. Let's say I want to do it professionally. Do you just put yourself out there for an audition and happen to get one thing leads into the next?
I guess so. I mean, you just have, if it's something that you're passionate about, like, you just have to keep at it. Like, it's something you don't look at it as something that will someday make you money. It's not something, if it's not a passion of yours, it's not something that you want to get up and do every day, like, don't do it, because it's going to be annoying if you just say, I want to be a professional puppeteer and I want to make money by doing puppeteering, it probably won't happen. Like, it needs to be a passion of yours. It needs to be something that you stick to and something that you work on.
That's amazing. When I took puppetry course, I took it with a former Henson puppeteer, and he told me, you'd be great in Avenue Q as
Brian.
Brian. That is what
non-puppet
that is what
character.
my puppetry teacher told
Is
me.
that a true
You'd be
story?
a true story. You'd be a great Brian. I'm like, wow.
It is
That's
true.
the
Oh my
one
gosh.
non-puppet in the show.
That's right.
I mean,
Well, you
I
could
guess
be-
it's true. I guess I would be a great Brian. I don't know.
Well, I don't think you'd be Christmas Eve, so that's
Right. That's
Right.
true. But yeah, no. So that was a little discouraging. But no, it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear.
That's a really
that,
good puppetry story.
Yeah, it's a great puppetry story.
Be great in a puppet musical as the regular person.
But it's nice to hear though that if you're passionate about it, you can achieve it, and you can. It's something that
and
you
that's
can
exactly
do.
how I started. Like, it was purely a hobby. I never thought that I would, be on Broadway,
Right.
especially. But I didn't even think people would want to buy my puppets. But that's how they kind of kept feeding me because people would ask me to actually make puppets for them, and so this is kind of cool. And so it's just step by step. You just kind of like a video game that I'm not good at, but
Right.
it's like getting levels, like higher levels.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you sitting down with us.
Yeah.
This has been really, really great, and I thank you for doing what you do. It seems weird because there's a lot of you out there that are doing it, but I mean, bringing this show to Broadway was, I think, really something completely different. And I'm sad to see it close, but I know that you guys will all move on to do take it elsewhere and do other great things. And I encourage people, get out there and see it because you'll never see anything like it again. And I truly mean that.
You should see what Danny's hands can do.
Yeah.
The
Watch
storytelling.
those hands.
Let me see your
If
hands.
you only knew.
Nicely manicured. Do you get hand massages and manicures often? Because that's your bread and butter, those things.
I don't.
Good.
No. Well, you should.
No one touches these.
We're going to take you out. We'll treat you.
I'm like
Right.
George Costanza, just wearing gloves everywhere. I
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Cool.
thanks for doing this, and let's get a round of applause going.
Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Miller.
John, Frank, Danielle, thank you for having me.
Yes.
You've been listening to the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, a cool side production, hosted by John Panepinto and Frank Caiati, with contributors Matt Hunt, Joe Hagopian, and Tom Zaccheo, and engineered by me, Danielle Rosefisher. Find us online at nothing-podcast.com. And be sure to rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are distributed.